Claude Sonnet 5 has just made running AI agents affordable enough to completely change how you approach automation. And the numbers here are big. Up until last week, the main barrier to AI adoption wasn't talent or algorithms. It was your compute bill. If you tried building real-time agent workflows on GPT-4 or older Claude models, you were probably burning through budgets faster than you could iterate. That's why this Sonnet 5 rollout isn't just a minor upgrade. It's a fundamental shift in the economics of building with AI. Most developers know the pain. You push your app from a toy to production, and suddenly that per token price multiplies. Enterprise teams have been trimming features, shrinking context windows, and skipping real-time orchestration just to keep costs reasonable. Anthropic saw this trend and said, enough. Here's what happened. They launched Sonnet 5 with a pricing cut that's far from subtle. API costs per token are now about 20% lower than before, moving closer to OpenAI's GPT 3.5 pricing. And that's the tier most scaling startups have been aiming for. But Sonnet 5 isn't sacrificing performance for price. It offers latency under 5 seconds for full batch workflows, so you don't have to compromise throughput just to get the cost break. Multiple outlets, pymnts.com, Geeky Gadgets, even Ukrainian tech portals, have confirmed Sonnet 5's rollout. The price drop is public, measurable, and visible right in your API billing dashboard. If you're moving 10,000 agent calls a day, we're talking about real dollars saved, not just a marketing pitch. So, technically, what's changed? Sonnet 5's architecture is smart about memory and token management. Anthropic rebuilt the inference stack to cut redundant computations, basically introducing a smarter caching system for context-heavy agent flows. If you're running concurrent agents, you stop seeing deadlocks and latency spikes. API errors from overloaded resources drop off too, and you get consistent speed, regardless of your context window size. For builders targeting orchestration-heavy scenarios, like customer service bots, finance automations, or product recommendation engines, this is a game changer. The industry impact is immediate. If you're a startup, you now have the runway to build agent-powered products without slashing features just to survive the API bill. Companies like Ramp, Notion, and even smaller fintechs can deploy deeper automations and broader workflows. Enterprise teams, who used to nickel and dime every agent thread, now have budget freedom to parallelize, iterate, and experiment. This kind of cost drop won't slide under the radar. OpenAI and Google, who are already competing for enterprise mindshare, will have to respond, likely with efficiency upgrades and price cuts of their own. Cohere, smaller AI players, and SaaS platforms relying on agent orchestration are all being forced to compete because Sonnet 5 sets a new benchmark for what's possible on a lean budget. Here's my take. This is massively underrated. Most coverage is focused on the cost, and yes, budgets matter. But the bigger story is what developers and founders can now build. Complex, context-aware agent workflows that don't break the bank. Anthropic isn't chasing the benchmark leaderboard. They're tackling the real pain point for anyone scaling agent-driven architecture. For most projects, budget is a tougher constraint than accuracy, and Sonnet 5 just loosened those chains. So what should you do about this? If cost matters, you can batch up automation and scale agent orchestration much wider. If model quality is all that drives your choice, maybe you stick with GPT-4, but Sonnet 5 is now close enough that most teams will pick price. The cost spiral has started. Expect more price drops and efficiency upgrades in the next 6 to 12 months. Would you scale up automations with cheaper agent costs, or stick with OpenAI for model quality?